Hello everyone, welcome to day 127 of playing chess every day for a year. Let's find the game. We're starting as white, so as always e4. And we get the Caro-Kann, so d4. I'll play the advance, play knight f3. Hope to see bishop f5. I can just play knight f3, bishop d3 to trade it off. I really like playing bishop d3, just developing a piece and stopping any threats. Bishop g5 isn't possible. Now I could pin the knight, and if the pawn pushes, I just take, they recapture, and I can take. Could take here now, but then the knight takes, so I think I'll actually pin the knight. If I pin the knight and they push, after takes, I win a pawn. So I think pinning the knight is just the right choice. If they kick me away here, I'll just take the knight and then take the bishop. So that's what I'll do. Bishop takes. I'll just take with the pawn here. Let's now have a strong center. I could bring my queen up to attack this, but they just push, so I think here I'll just castle. If they attack my center, I just push. It's bishop and knight versus two knights. I actually think pushing e6 would be a good move, because if they recapture, I have an outpost for my knight, and it becomes very powerful. If they take, I just recapture the queen. If this comes, I just move the queen. I could even play c3 here. So if they push, that's okay. If they take, I just recapture the queen. If the knight comes out, I can probably just go this way. I actually want to play e6 here, because if they take, I get this very nice outpost for my knight in the middle of the board. And if they don't take, I'll be able to take with check. So e6 here. I could also bring my rook to the e-file. This is a dark squared bishop, which is annoying. So the pawn does take. I can jump in here, looking for a fork. Also have this strong knight. If they take, I just take. But then if the knight comes out, I can take. So this seems like a good move. If my opponent goes to trade, I could tempo the rook, but I think I'd just defend the knight with my queen. I could play c4 here. If I play knight to c3, if they take, I just recapture. If I play knight c3 and they push, I just go this way. This is a strong piece that I have in the center. My opponent will probably try to trade it off. Now my opponent castles here. I could attack this. Castling seems wrong. If I could get my other knight here, that would be very, very good. And so if I play queen h5, the only way my opponent can attack my queen is with a queen trade. If they push, I'd just take. Queen h5 seems very nice. And if they push, they would actually hang this pawn. Queen h5, if I play this, they can play this. But then I have checks, so queen h5 just seems like such a good move. I do hang this pawn, but I think I'm just active. So queen h5. My queen on a light square. A dark squared bishop. This does look very dangerous for my opponent, but for now they are fine. Queen h5. I'm not actually threatening anything here. But if I can get my other knight in, into g6, then that's completely winning for me. A queen trade would be okay. I'm down a pawn right now. because I gave up my e-pawn. If I can bring my other knight into the area around the king, it will be so powerful for me. If the bishop goes to f6, I'd probably just tempo the rook, but then they could pin my knight and probably win it. So the problem here now is, if I play queen here, I could anchor the knight in, but yeah, trading this knight off seems good for my opponent. If I go back to defend like this, that seems wrong. If I tempo the rook, the queen comes to pin. I could go back. So I could tempo the rook moves, but then I have nothing. I just think I should play c3 here. I should just aim to bring my knight in here, like I said before. If they trade, that's okay. I give up the center though, which I don't like. I could defend with the rook to keep pressure on this. So I'll actually do that first. If they take, I take. And I have pressure on this. Rook over. Now I'll slowly bring my knight in. They still can't kick me away. Unless they go for queen trade. But then I'll be happy with the queen trade. They just take. I still think bringing my knight in here is the way to win. It just seems so strong. And I am down 2 pawns now. My opponent's center looks so strong. And if I ever move my knight, this would hang. My rooks are connected. My position's worse now because of my opponent's center. I gave up 2 pawns. Knight f3, knight h4, and knight in here. A queen trade is useful for me. Well, not useful, but... So my opponent goes for the trade. I can take with the rook. If this move happens, I just take. The queen comes in to attack the rook. That seems good. I have knight f3 to defend. I could also double up and attack this, which actually seems really good now, because I'm threatening to win this with tempo on the queen. If the rook comes over, I take with check. So I'll instantly double up on this pawn. If the knight comes in, that's a blunder, because I just tempo the queen here. And just tempo the queen and win the pawn. And if the queen moves, the queen doesn't have many good squares. If the queen moves, maybe I potentially have a rook sacrifice. That would only give me a draw. If I could get a rook here, I'd threaten to take this. So if the queen does move, looking for queen trade. It's a good move. If I play here, I'm threatening to take, but then I'm not threatening mate because of the queen. I could play rook over to attack this, but it's defended. My queen is hanging right now. I could trade like this. Queen in. I could play this rook move. Tempoing the queen doesn't work. If a queen trade happens, the rook takes. Well, I think my opponent blundered here. Queen takes, rook takes, I have check, winning a rook. Rook takes check. If the rook blocks. Wow, my opponent... Okay, it's not really giving up the rook, but I'm very active. King over, I could go after this straight away. So these doubled pawns are a weakness. I could go after... For me, I should probably give my king some space, but going after these weak central pawns seems very strong for me. I can always move my king to the f-file as well to defend my back rank, so this would hang my rook, so I'm not playing that. This could go here. I think I just bring my knight to f3 for now, trying to come in to attack the rook. I'm down a pawn, but it's my opponent who has doubled pawns, so... And I'm in a 3-on-2 on the queen side. The idea is to get my rook to the center with this knight move, which is actually a fork. Knight e5 is a threat. A rook trade now. A rook trade now seems actually good for me because my knight's in the center, protecting all these squares, stopping the king from moving. And so my opponent does go for the rook trade. They're also not threatening mate, but so if we trade, my knight's in the center, and I can always expand on this side, and I think I'm doing very well. So I'll happily go into this. My knight's just so strong in the center, and I can always play f4. So I don't want to knight trade here. If I play this and we knight trade. So if I knight trade, I think that's bad for me. This structure would be strong. If I defend instead, I think defending is the right way. I have a threat of my own, so because I'd threatened to push. I need to bring my king to the center. So if we trade, my opponent is faster, but I am actually faster to the center. So yeah, if the king comes in, I come in. The king has to go this way. I come in, king goes this way, I come in. King comes in, I come in. King can take. Wow. And so I think I attack this. If my opponent pushes, I just push, and they push, and I push. My opponent takes. King up. Pushing seems wrong. King in. Could step here, which seems like the best move. Opponent does win this, but if I step in, I have all these squares, and I am losing on this side, but the king can never come in, and there are no checks on my king. Now I'm down 2 pawns, and this is looking bad for me. So I can't push my c pawn at all. I can't step back with my king. I think I just play a3. But if I play a3, I'm gonna have to play a4 eventually. I think I play h3 here. My opponent is the one who has more moves. So if I push and they take, they can always have this pawn. If I push and they take, this is holding everything. But then I'm the one who has to make a move anyway, so if I push and they take, I'm the one who's stopping the king from coming in. If I push, they take, I come in. They can just defend. I think pushing g3 is the right move, but h4 seems bad. I'd have to step back. But g3 seems so wrong as well. So it's either g3 or h4 here. g3 if they take, I come in. They defend. If I come in here, I'm doing fine. g3 seems silly, but I think I'm losing either way. I'll play g3. They just take. And now I'm actually slower. Why did I play g3? And king e2. Okay, I'm not slower, but I'm just completely lost now. I'm the one who's defending. Yeah, and the king can always win this, so... This is just a loss either way. If the king comes in, I don't have many moves. King f3 seems like the best move. King d3. They just push. Now they push. I gave up too many pawns and now I'm losing the endgame. So if I take, the king just is quicker. And I can't even afford to win this pawn because my opponent promotes. I can't push though because that just loses quicker, so I'll just take. It's a losing endgame here. If I come in, they just push. And it's completely losing here. They just push now. That just hangs the pawn, so I think I'll just resign. Because I hung my only threat. And if the king moves, I'll just resign here. And let's look at this game. So I played with a 79.3, my opponent played an 87. I had 2 mistakes and my opponent had 1. I played like a 1500 and my opponent like an 1800. We were equal for most of the game, but I made 1 mistake which lost me the game. So I played the Caro-Kann. And here I was actually slightly better because of my center. I should have developed my knight to c3, just to strengthen the center even more. And pushing was actually wrong for my opponent, because I can just take and probably play queen in. Instead I pushed thinking my knight would be so strong in the center here, and jumping the knight into e5 was actually a mistake, because they can just take. So castling's by far the best move for my opponent. Rook e1 first was the best move, which makes a lot of sense because if I take, I get to pin the bishop to the king and win a pawn, and we'd be equal in material. So rook e1 was the best choice here. And queen in was actually wrong, even though it looks very strong. And my opponent won another pawn here. I should have played knight d2, which I did next. Taking with the rook is okay, but I'm still down material. I knew queen f6 was a mistake because I can just double up. And now it's me who's better again. Going back with the queen is the best choice. The queen trade doesn't help me. This was a mistake, because this endgame is... Okay, so just taking the pawn was better. I'm not sure why I didn't take on d4 here. That's such an obvious move to see. And would be equal in material here, and the game would probably be a draw. This is essentially a draw. For some reason I played the e5 instead. And this was a mistake. I should have just blockaded the pawns with my knight. So my huge mistake was playing f4 this game, which is a terrible move, because after this trade I'm actually slower. I should have played h4 to stop the king from coming in. And this endgame is completely lost for me. Should have played king back first. And then of course I just hung my pawn here as well, which was a terrible move. And in this endgame I had no chances of winning. So my biggest mistake this game I think was playing f4, which is very bad for me. Even though I have a pass pawn, the king is so much closer to the center. And so I end up losing the endgame. And I also should have taken on d4 with my knight. But that's it for today guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.